Hello, I'm Alice, and if you didn't see my last video, I was basically going through my foundations, concealers and primers, numbering them all within each category. But as much as I said what products I had, I didn't speak much about them. So today, that's what I hope to do in this video. But I'm not going to be going over the same products again. I'm going to be doing a different category. I've already numbered them though, so we don't need to do that. But I'm going to be doing my cream and liquid blushes, contours and bronzers. So I've got them all in these two bags. So this one's all my Made by Mitchell products. I've got a lot, hence I've got the container. It's not one of those ones where it's like a solid box though, I'll show you. It's more one that's designed to be a brush holder. But I've got all my blushes and, well, blushes, should I say, in there. So yeah, I've got ones which act as blushes, which are everything except for these three really, because this is a contour, this is a bronzer, and then this one's white, so that one's more of a mixer, if you will. And then on the next page, pages if it's like a book, but are ones that are meant to be highlighters though. I would argue this pink one, which I think is shade Dragon Fruit, yeah, is more of a blush. So yeah, I'm going to be going through all of those. And then I've got this other bag where I keep all the rest of my cream and liquid blushes, contours and bronzers, except for the ones that are in palettes, which I should probably get those out as well to go through, which again I've got a Made by Mitchell, the light curve case of course. I think the only other cream one I have in a palette form is this palette, which is a Revolution one. So get those out. Right, so I've emptied that pink bag of my cream and liquid products. I'm going to start with the contour category because that's the category I've got the least items in. So it should be the quickest to do. What should I start with? I'll try go in number order of what the labels are, maybe, so then I don't have to think about it too much. Right, so this is the Revolution Pro HD Cream Contour Palette. It's got highlight in here, and these shades I'd say are concealers, although I guess technically you could use them as foundations, but because it's like this waxy texture, personally for me, I don't think I'd use it as a foundation. I'd just use it as a concealer. This is in the shade Fair. It's quite old now, so it's probably expired, but unless a product is like actively not working or it's dried up, I won't throw it away, to be honest. Because I just think once you've bought it, you might as well make your use out of it. Yeah, so it's got highlighter, bronzer, contour. This one's a bit dark for me, to be honest, but I guess if I did tan, fake or otherwise, well, it would have to be a fake with me because I don't really tan naturally, to be fair. That might work. And then there's this random colour corrector, and I think yellow is meant to be brightening. It's like it's meant to cancel out think about the colour wheel, I guess it would cancel out purple. So probably for like under eyes and stuff. And I guess around your mouth, if you have any dark areas. So that's my first, ow, just hit myself in the face with it. First contour product. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan because it's not massively blendable, but I don't know if, like I said, that's because I've had it for a while or what, but I don't reach for this one often, but I'll be reaching for it more when I start randomising my routine. So yeah. Next up is another Revolution product that's so old, all of the text is rubbed off except for on the barcode sticker. So it's just a double side, one of these double sided. Still a lot of product in there, to be fair, and I swear I've used this so many times. Double ended contour and concealer. Concealer's a little bit, actually no, it looks darker on there than what it does on my hand. I was going to say it's a little bit dark for me, but it's not. And that's in the shade Fair. I don't think you can get this one from Revolution, but I think they've done a different one now, which has like the rose gold packaging, like what this one is. Not that same product, but that same type of packaging. But I think they're like £7 now. When I got this, I think it was like 4 or 5. So yeah, but to be fair, I have had it like maybe like 6 years, so that'll be why. This one's more blendable than what that palette is, I'd say, actually. So yeah, I do love Revolution products on the whole. I know I've been slagging off that palette, but yeah. And then next is this Young Vision one. This one was a TikTok shop purchase, and I think it's one of those random like Chinese brands where they do dupes, because as you can see it looks like a Charlotte Tilbury dupe. It's by the brand Young Vision, and to be honest, the tube doesn't feel like it was properly filled up, but I think this was literally like £1.50, so it's kind of like beggars can't be choosers. And it does have the proper mechanism where you do like the twisty thing to turn it off and on, and it's got the sponge tip on the end. Oh, I was trying to show you it, just dropped it. Sponge tip on the end. I'm just trying to squeeze some out to do a swatch. Oh god, it's a bit stiff. That is the swatch. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a bit patchy, this product. But as I say, for the price, I'm not complaining, you know. Let's just turn that off. I have to turn it off because otherwise the lid won't go on. Yeah. This is probably the one I use the most, is the contour cake. That's the I keep ruining everything. I've just dipped the edge in there and I've wiped it on my hand. Now I've got a dirty hand. I'm just rubbing it into my hand. I have to wash them in a minute. It's the contour cake by Pink Honey, and mine is in the shade S'mores and Kisses. Now I don't think these come in as many shades as what the bronzing version does, which I do have as well, because I think the bronzing one is like 15 shades and I think this comes in 6 or 7. I think they might have changed their packaging since this, but I remember I think they're £17 full price. I think I paid like a £5 for this because it was around the time of the rebrand, so that was good. Yeah, this is my most used contour. It's like the perfect shade for me, and it's nice and blendable. What I do is there's this brush I have which is sort of like a big eyeshadow brush, but the top of it is flat, but not flat as in like one of those ones where it strokes on your face like that, but flat as in like it's like this, but then the top is flat. I use that and I go in and draw it on, and then I blend it in with a flat top foundation brush, which again is flat in the same way that that last one was. Not like one of those curved ones where it's just squashed, if you see what I mean. But yeah, I love this, would recommend. Then I've got my Huda Beauty Tantor. I need to use this more, to be honest, but I get scared to use it because it's expensive products. So I'm like, it'd be expensive to replace. But to be fair, how many grams of this are in this? 11 grams, so it's a fair amount of product. But this one is meant to be half bronzer, half contour. And I'd say, to be fair, it probably is, that is about right. It's neutral toned rather than warm or cool. So yeah, I got this half price last Black Friday, so I think it was 15 quid, and mine's in the shade Fair. And I do love the packaging, how it has. So it's got that lid that twists off, and then it's got this that protects the product. Because one thing with that Pink Honey one is, I am noticing that it's drying up a little bit more than when I first got it, whereas this is staying the same. And it's almost a bit spongy feeling, the product, which is a bit weird, but yeah. So I love that one. Next, this is my Made by Mitchell curve case. Mine's in the shade Light. I love this packaging. And it has these little hooks. Or would you call them hooks? Maybe nodules on the side, if you see. So the product lifts up, but it's not on the other side. So it helps to keep it closed properly when you want it closed. It also has all of the shades on the back. And this palette, each pan is 8.5 grams of product, and I got this for I think £15, but I think the RRP is 30, but it's basically always on sale. I might have even got it less than £15 if I got it around Black Friday, maybe like 12, 13. I think the contour shades in this, I know Hollow there's definitely a contour shade because I've got that in the liquid blush form. I think Collectible is neutral, and then I think these two are warm, which are Cream Curl and Shady Business. So those two will be bronzers. This is a contour, and this is a bit like the Beauty one in the sense of it's neutral. It's not the same shade, but is neutral. So yeah, these are really blendable. The only thing that I don't like, which isn't really a problem with the product, is I'm so indecisive with knowing what to pick. So yeah, that's just me though. Right, I'll do my bronzers next. I just need to sort them out. Now I'm moving on to my cream bronzers. So starting us off again, I've got the same Revolution palette as before. I've already gone through this, so I don't think I need to again. But I would say, because I don't think I said before, I think that one's probably contour, that one's bronzer, that one's contour if I was tanned. The curve case, again, I've already gone through this. The two bronze shades are Cream Carve and Shady Business, which are these two. And then this one's neutral, so it could also be used as a bronzer, which is collectible. And then I've got the Tantor, already gone through this one again. Oh, so the palettes that I just showed was Fair and Light, and this one is Fair, the Huda Beauty Tantor. Then this one isn't one I've shown before. This one is actually a concealer, but because of the shade I've got it in, it's used as a, oh, I've just seen that on the side. That's another one of my cream bronzers. Don't know what's doing up there. Because of the shade, it's in C11. It's actually a more of a bronzer. Like you can see it's very orange toned. Just there. It is the matte base concealer, which is full coverage concealer. There's 8 grams of product. I think this was £3 when I got it, and it's actually really good. I don't actually have it in my actual concealer shade because I'm not as much of a fan of these balmy ones, like a cream concealer. I prefer a liquid. But as a bronzer, if they still sell it, I would recommend it. Then they definitely don't sell this anymore. The Freedom Pro Camouflage Paste. This is in the shade CF0A. Again, it's one where it's meant to be, I think it's meant to be a concealer. But I use it as a bronzer because of the shade that I got it in. I do also have it in the concealer shade, which I use more as an eyeshadow base because I only really like liquid concealers as actual under eye concealer and stuff. Yeah, this is a bit dried up now, to be honest. I remember I used to use this on my brows, but I do think it's too warm toned for that, unless you've got auburn hair. And because it's the brand Freedom, which hasn't existed in absolute yonks, definitely expired, but as long as it's still working, I'll still use it. I'll still keep it at least. Similar to the contour, I've got the Young Vision one. I think this is in the bronzing shade there. Hopefully I've got these the right way around. Let's see, because that was the swatch before of the one that was meant to be the contour, and then this is the more bronzer one. Oh yeah, I've definitely got those the right way around. You can see how cool toned that one is compared to this bronzing one. That one's in shade 05 and the previous one was 06. So yeah, this is probably my most used cream bronzer. It's the BFF Bronzing Face Frosting cream bronzer by Pink Honey, and it's in shade Milky Mocha. Again, I think I've got the ideal shade for myself here, and I think this was like £5 or £6 when I got it because they've changed the packaging. But I did feel a bit lied to though, because I remember on TikTok they were like, oh, it's been discontinued, this is the last time it's going to be available, and I was like, oh, well, do I need to buy another one because I do love it so much? But then it turns out they were just changing the packaging anyway, so I was like, lies. But I feel like they do that a lot. Like, I think Trigwell Cosmetics at the minute is having to change its branding, and they're making out like the products are never going to be brought back, but I'm like, surely they're going to be brought back just under a different packaging. And so yeah, I would highly recommend that one. Anyway, these two last ones are P. Louise ones. I actually went to the P. Louise Empire, although I didn't buy these from there, but I did pick out some blushes, which I'll show you later, that I got from there, and I got some of their lip kits, because on the website when you do a 3 for 5, or at least at the time, not 3 for 5, it's like 3 for 25 on the lip things, which are £22 each normally. You had to get 3 of the same type, so say like 3 juicy drips, 3 bad bitches, or bad bees should I say. But at the Empire you can mix and match, so that's why I waited till I went to the Empire to get those, and also because I wanted to be able to smell them, so I knew that I would like it, because they have so many different scents, it's crazy. But I got these ones online in a bundle. So I got the cream Spoilt for Choice bronzer, and this one's more of a liquid bronzer, which is the Cheek Fit. And both of these are in the shade Lovely Latte, and I think they were £25, but they also were with the baked bronzer version of I think, is it also called Cheek of It? Let me just check. Yeah, Cheek of It baked bronzer as well. So that's the same type as like the same name as what the liquid one is, whereas the cream one is foil for kids. Right, my Alex straws there. Does anyone else remember, like, back in the day on YouTube where everybody had those Alex straws? Because I do. Right, so this is what the shade is like. To be honest, these are very light and yellow tones, so I don't use these very often. I think I needed to get a different shade. Like, there's one called like Cashew or something, which is listed before these as though it's a lighter shade, but it actually looks like a bit of a darker shade. I think it would have been better for me. But that is the liquid one. And it is on one of these spongy tips again, but I don't think you can turn these ones to turn them off like you can with some other ones. Like, I think with the blushes you can switch them off, which is weird because I swear it's the same component. Oh no, you can't turn any of them off. Fair enough. So yeah, I like the formula of this. I just think I got the wrong shade. And then same with this because they're in the same shade. And this one I've not used because I'm just scared to, like, look how satisfying it looks with the printed name in it. But I do need to try this at some point. And it's got its own mirror, and I've not taken the thing off the mirror yet. Oh, satisfying clothes. I just love it. Yeah, so 3 for £25 for those two, and the baked bronzer, not bad at all. Especially because, especially if I've got the right shade. But yeah. So those are all my cream bronzers. Now moving on to blush, I thought I might as well start with my P. Louise one, seeming as I was just going on about how I went to the P. Louise Empire. So 3 of these I picked out in person, and then the other one I got as a freebie when I made an order. So the 3 shades that I picked out in person are Melon Mood, Legally Lavender and Dainty Delight. The Melon Mood and the Legally Lavender I had my eyes on before I went. I think I saw, it might have been Michaela trying out the Legally Lavender, and I thought, oh, I need that. Although she has dark hair, so obviously it's kind of hard to judge sometimes what's going to look good, because even though she's quite pale, different colourings. But and then Melon Mood, I thought it just looked good. And Dainty Delight was one where literally spur of the moment chose it in person, because I think they were 3 for £18 in person, which I think is a deal they do online as well, to be fair. But or they were like 15 or 16 quid each, so you might as well get 3 realistically. So yeah, this one is the Melon Mood. Online it looked a bit more coral than what it did in person, but I still liked it because, as I said, I had my eye on it before I got it in person. Let's just try and get some out so I can swatch it. I don't want to squeeze too much out because it's hard to get back in. Well, you can't get it back in. Yeah, so it's very pink. That's Melon Mood. Right, sort of a medium pink, I'd say. It's not light or dark. And then the other one I had my eyes on. This Legally Lavender. So it is basically pink, but because it's such a cool tone pink, I think that's where they've got the lavenderness from. Like, it is a little bit lavendery toned, I guess, but it is basically a really cool toned light pink. And then the 3rd shade, which I don't think I've used yet actually on my face, is Dainty Delight. And this one I'd say is more of a sort of neutral toned blush. It's a little bit orangey compared to the others. I'd describe it as the colour of a ballet shoe, but a little bit more orangey toned. They do actually have one, I think, that's called ballet slipper, but that's not this one. This one's dated light, so it's just there. Quite a subtle one compared to the other two bright ones. And then this is the one that I got free in an order. It's a smaller version, but I think these ones, the full size, are 25mm, and this is 15mm, so considering I got it free in an order, pretty banging. And this one's Legally Pink. I think it's one of their best-selling colours, and the other, it must be have been released at the same time as that one, I bet. It's called Legally Lavender. I'm just trying to swatch it on my finger. To be honest, they look very similar, those two. So that's Legally Pink, that's Legally Lavender. So those are all my P. Louise ones. I think I might have to wash my hand off so I can have a clean hand swatching more things. I've not got my micellar water in here, but I do have my simple eye makeup remover, so I'll just use that instead, because otherwise I'll have to use a cleansing balm, then I'll be all sticky. Right. It's always scary when it's like some of it isn't coming off. No, it is all coming off, it's just some are harder to get off than others, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it probably means it's long lasting in your face, but yeah, obviously you don't want it to stain at the same time. Alright, this next one, they're obviously duping the P. Louise packaging, because look, this is the P. Louise and this is the fake. It is the Dim Show brand. This is another TikTok shop purchase. I think it's actually from the same store as those Young Vision ones, which I do have a blush version of that as well. I don't think this says what shade it is. I'll be able to tell on the TikTok shop if I looked, but yeah, it's that, and it's that same sponge applicator. Like, it literally is the exact same component, I swear, to that P. Louise one. It's even got the gold banding, so they're definitely ripping them off. Although the top of this one is curved and the end of the tube, whereas this is pokey. Yeah, and that's sort of a bright coral. And then I might as well, seeing as I've already mentioned it, this is the Young Vision blush I was on about, and this is shade 01. So it's the same situation as with that contour and bronze where you meant to twist it. Oh, when I twist it, the whole thing's coming off. That's probably not right. Right, there we go. So, I don't know if I said before, but these are obviously meant to be a dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury based on the packaging. So that's that shade there. This one is quite sticky, but I think it was like £1.50 or something. And I think that fake P. Louise one, I think that was about £2. But this one is quite sticky, so it's quite hard to use, whereas the fake P. Louise is actually quite a good formula. Like, it's not too sticky or anything. Then I've got these Young Vision ones, which are a bit of a gimmick. They're the jelly tints, and I've got them in the shade Scarlet Red and Bordeaux Berry. They actually sent me the wrong shade because I think I ordered one that had peach in the name, but I didn't notice right away, so it was too late by the time I noticed. But it's a tint, obviously meant to be a dupe for the Milk makeup ones. That's the bright pink, which is the red shade. Like, it comes off bright pink, but it's called Scarlet Red, so yeah. And it has these little caps that go on it to stop it drying out, which I do like. Oh, nearly put the wrong lid on. And the thing is with these, I'm like, I don't see how the Milk makeup ones could be that drastically better, considering these were like £2. And that is the more purpley shade. Only a slight difference, to be fair. That one there. I'm trying to see if it smells of anything. It does smell of something, but I don't think it smells of berries. But now I'm thinking, are they intentionally meant to smell? Let's see if the other one smells any different. No, they just have a sort of generally sweet smell, but like makeupy as well. Sort of like a Hawaiian tropic type smell. Yeah. I've got my Pixie blush in the shade Fleur. It's the On The Go blush. Again, it's got one of those plastic things that those last ones had as well. Now, this is a summertime blush. It's very sticky, so I normally would just use this. So I'm just going to see how far up it goes. I normally would just use this as if I'm not wearing foundation. Get quite a lot of product. How many grams is it? 19 grams. And I think these are like 15 quid. Yeah, it's quite sticky. So the problem is, if I was wearing foundation underneath, is it makes it separate when you're blending it out. But I've worn this in summer on holiday, just to give my cheeks a little bit more colour. It's quite a nice shade Fleur. What to do next? I'm going to save my favourite till last. I've got these Makeup Obsession blushes in the Buildable Sheer Blusher liquid blushes in Sienna Blush and West Peach. That one is Sienna Blush, sort of a dusky rose. Is it dusky or dusty? I'm not sure. Dusty rose, or maybe like a mauve, is what you might say. And then this one is West Peach, sort of more of a nude toned pink blusher. Sorry, I'm just doing the tube up. That one is West Peach. I don't think Makeup Obsession exists anymore either. I've got this Revolution Super Dewy blusher. See, the name is a bit ironic because the tube is very much on the verge of drying up and I've barely used it, which is quite bad. It's like a bright coral, because I did have this in a shade which I preferred alongside this, and that one had completely dried up, like it was unsavable. And same with the bronzer version of this I had as well, and that same story. And I know I've had them for like 3 years maybe, but that doesn't normally happen. I don't think I've ever had that happen that soon with anything. And it's not like I was leaving them open, so I was not impressed by that. I've got this Lacuro Sweet Blusher. Now, this was actually not originally mine, but someone was getting rid of it, so I took it on. Now, it's a bit of an odd shade, to be honest, which maybe is the reason they were getting rid of it. It's like almost brown tone. It's probably be good if you had darker skin, but I don't. Like, it's a mauvey brown. I'll have to give it a go. Maybe it would be good to blend with bronzer and then a brighter blusher alongside it rather than just a standalone blusher. It's by the brand Lacura, which I think is the brand that's sold in Aldi as their beauty range, where they do quite a lot of dupes, although I'm not entirely sure what this would be a dupe of based off the packaging. If you know, let me know. I'm not sure. I've got this elf stick that I've had for ages. I think I did an elf order maybe like 8 or 9 years ago. Oh, is that a bit long? I don't know if I'm exaggerating. And it's this sort of magenta balm. And that was back, it must have been about that long ago, because this was back in the day when this would have been like £2. The foundations were like a £5. And I remember I was really annoyed at the time because the foundation was like the main reason for doing the order. And then they said it was out of stock, and then I had to pay customs on my order. It was a whole thing. But I still wanted the other stuff. Then I was like, is it worth paying the customs? And I was like, but the things were cheap, so I'm like, I guess the customs isn't that bad, because like they were so affordable to begin with. But yeah, it was a battle. I've got this Revolution Pro. This one is sort of in a similar shade to that Lacura one. In fact, I would say it's basically the exact same shade. That's that one there. This is the Revolution Pro one. It's the Blush and Lift in shade Bliss. Basically the exact same as the Lacura one, which I don't know what shade that was in. Did it say? It was in Orchid Pink, the Lacura one. So yeah, both a weird shade of blush, but I'll have to give them a proper go. I've got these baby tints which are from Relove for Revolution. I always want to say Revolve. I think these were a couple of quid each. This one is an extremely bright blush. If you see that swatch there, it looks more red on camera than what it does in person. Like, it's just a really corally brush, and these ones are a very bizarre texture, but I think it's because they're a 2-in-1 lip and cheek tint, so I think maybe they might be more better for the lips. What shade was that one in? That one was literally in the shade Coral, so it makes sense. They killed it on the colour there. And then this is in the shade Rose. And they're both, the formula on them is quite similar, but I'd say this one's a lot more opaque of a colour than the other one. Although you can't really see it on the swatch because I've just blended it out. That is the shade Rose. Just there. Yeah. And I've got this Kiko Tropic Heat Lips and Cheeks. Stick one. Very dark, so I barely use this on the cheeks at least. It is like a dark magenta shade. Very pretty. Then I've got like sleek makeup. This is technically meant to be a highlighter, but for me it would be too dark as a highlighter. It's the Highlighting Elixir Illuminating Drops, and I think the shade is She Got It Glow. Right, so that is the, I've just dabbed a bit there. If I rub it in, it is very shimmery, so I can see where they've got the highlighteriness from, but for me it would be far too dark as a highlighter, so it's in my blush collection. More of a blush topper though, I'd say. Well, I would need to use something underneath it to give more of a base colour, and then use that on top, because I don't think it would end up being that shimmery because I would have to powder over it anyway. And then I've got this. Never had anything from this brand. except for this, and I bought, at the same time as it, I bought a lip thing that was also from the same collection. Very pretty shade though. Pink Sand. This is the Rude Cosmetics Mentos collab. Very random collab. 2-in-1 lip and cheek tint. I think I got this when I was in Benidorm in the shopping centre, and there was a deal on. And this is my all-time favourite liquid blush that my sister got me. It's the Rare Beauty liquid blush in Happy. She's got this in Hope. I have Hope in the powder version, but in the liquid version I've got this Happy shade, and I do feel like I need to get it in shade Hope as well. But then I also want to get shade Happy in the powder, because I usually use a liquid and a powder. So it's just a very neutral toned pink shade, very pretty and very blendable. That is my favourite. Right, I'm going to put those all away, and then I'm going to go through all my Made by Mitchell blushes, contours, the whole shebang of what is in this case. Now to get into all my Made by Mitchell blushes. Now, of course, I've already shown you the curve case that I have, which is Made by Mitchell, but that's just the start of the collection. Obviously, this is a different formula to the blushes, but I think I do have a couple of shades in the blushes that I have in here, because I know I've definitely got Strawberry Cream, Hollow there, and Shady Business, which, if I show you, is Strawberry Cream's this one, Hollow there's this one, Shady Business is that one, but I don't think I've got the other shades in the blush formula for these palettes, but if I've got it in one, I don't really need it in the other. Right, so moving on to my brushes, you can see I've got them sort of set out in different groups, what colours. So this is my oranges, orange toned ones. This is my more neutral peachy section. Got my yellow section, my pink section, and my purple section. Now I can never decide whether this one is purple or blue, but anyway, I'm going to go through all of the shades. I've also got these, which, as I've mentioned, it's my Hollow there, Shady Business, and my white shade, which is called Milk Mix, so they know that that's a mixing shade, which is, I agree. So if I ever want to lighten any of these up, that's what to use. And then I've got my highlighter shades, or shimmery shades I should say, because some of them on me would be a bit too dark to be a highlighter. But I'm going to start with my orange shades. So I've got Capri is Calling, or Capri is Calling. I think it's probably Capri, isn't it? Right, I'm gonna swatches again. So that's sort of a pumpkin orange shade, I would say. Capri is Calling. Tiger Lily. Tiger Lily, move to the city. This one isn't opaque as the other one, but it's a very bright orange. Tangerine. So that one was Capri Calling, this one's Tiger Lily. Doing them next to each other so you can see gradient. Mango Daiquiri, this one I believe is quite a popular shade. I'd say in terms of it being mango coloured, it's a bit more orange than what a mango is. So it's that one at the top. Mango Daiquiri. Now I will admit not all of these I've actually used as a blush yet, but I'll get around to using all of them. Like, that's why I'm doing my spreadsheet, so it will randomise what I have to use, and then I'll try products in my collection that didn't get a lot of love more. This one is Ripe Type. I'm just thinking now they're meant to be in order of darkest to lightest, but I think this second one, which is the Tiger Lily one, is darker than the Capri is calling, but it looks right when they're in the tube, so I think I'll leave it. Dahlia Details is this next one. So these are all the orange section. See, that one's a bit more milky than the others, and less bright. Like, that's more of a realistic blush shade than the other one. And this one is Apricot Hot, or if you're American, Apricot. And that one's more milky than the previous one, but also more orange toned. So that is my orange section of blushes. Oh, blushes. Right. Next I'm going to be doing my sort of peachy, more neutrally section. This is my favourite shade of blush, and I think it's also made by Mitchell's favourite shade himself, or Mum Mitchell. It is the shade Shy Boy. It looks very dark on here, but because it's quite dark you need the tiniest amount when you do it on your face, and it's just such a pretty colour when it blends out. I might actually blend it out for you here just to show. Like, it's such like a flushed cheeks vibe. Then Peach Sugar, I think this is one of their best selling shades. I personally prefer a Shy Boy, but I can see why people would prefer this one because it's less intense. So that one is Peach Sugar. And next, Darling Peach. This one is very brown tone, like there's not that much peachiness to it compared to the others. Very brown toned. Although it's less brown toned when you've got it on, I will say that. Melon Sorbet. Then this one is like that, sort of the same light, dark / darkness as the last one, but it's just more peachy. I prefer this one to the other shade. So that was Melon Sorbet. I prefer that to, what's it called, Darling Peach, because Darling Peach wasn't really giving peach. This is Can't Cope with Coral. And I think, so that one is very bright. It's that one there. I'm assuming, because that's called Can't Cope with Coral, that it's meant to be the same as the shade in the palette that is called Coral. Let's see. Yeah, very similar shades. So that must be what it's meant to be the same shade as, but I wonder why it's not the exact same name. Maybe they do have another one that's just called Coral. I'm not sure. But yeah, I didn't realise those were meant to be the same. Then this one isn't, I didn't really know what category to put this one in, so I just put it wherever there was a gap that looked right. This is in the shade Cuddle Me. It's more of a concealer shade, not for me, because it's really a bit of a dark concealer shade for me, but I could potentially use it as an eyeshadow base or something like that. but I think realistically I'd more use it as to mix my colours. So if the white felt a bit too stark for mixing, I'd use that. I'm going to wipe those off. So that was the oranges and the peachy shades. I'll wipe those off and then I'll have space to do the rest of my blushes. So the next category is the yellow. The thing with these products is though, I believe they are eye safe and they are multi-use products, so you can use them on your lips and stuff for sure. I'd have to check if they were eye safe, but I'm pretty sure they are. Or maybe I'm thinking of the Jeffree Star one. So that first shade in the yellow category is Sunflower. But you'll be left in the dust, innocent sapphire, innocent flower. And then this next shade is Yellow Yellow. And I say it like that because it's not got a W on the end, so I think it's meant to be like hello, but yellow. Now these yellow ones aren't very opaque, but opaque shades of yellow are quite hard to formulate. So I know that because I remember James Charles going on about it when he released his palette and was like, a yellow eyeshadow has never been this bright before. And then this one is the lightest shade of yellow, 1998. It's a good job it wasn't 1989, because then I'd be like, oh hello, that's meant to be blue. This is Taylor Swift. Move on to the pinks. Back to the fuchsia. It's the shade. See what they did there. See, a lot of these shades I didn't buy in the moment from actual Made by Mitchell. I got a lot of them off Vinted resellers, but I do think they're all legit because all the packaging on them is all the exact same, other than like the name stickers. And when I say other than name stickers, I just mean literally the names are different rather than like the font or anything. But it's weird because like I don't remember half these shades ever being even released, so he must have done a lot of limited editions in his time. So that was Back to the Future, that first darkest pink, and then this one is Sweet Cheeks. I think this is my second favourite all-time shade, after A Shy Boy. I think my sister might have gifted me both those shades, so clearly she knows what's up. And then I've got this Strawberry Cream one, which is one that is in the Curve Case palette as well. Very light. A very light baby pink. I do like that one a lot as well, but I prefer Sweet Cheeks because you don't have to put as much on as you do of the Strawberry Cream to get a similar effect. Then I've got these purple ones. This is Prima Donna. Prima Donna girl. Oh. There's that purple shade there. And then this last one is called Love Lies, which is one where I can never decide whether it's purple or whether it's blue. This one is not very pigmented compared to that last one. But I guess because of the shade, that might be a good thing. To make it easy to work with. Yeah, would you say that's blue or purple? I think it is blue, but in the tube it looks more purple. That shade Love Lies. And then I'm just going to run through these quickly because I've already spoke about these a lot. It's my contour shade, which is Hollow Layer, which is also in the Curve Cases. So there is my contour shade. And then I've got Shady Business. I got these in a free pack with another shade, but I gave the other shade away because it was too dark for me. And that is Shady Business, which again is also in my curve case. I've used these more than the curve case formula, but I've not decided which I prefer yet for these. So yeah, and then I've just got the white, which I use for mixing if a shade's too dark. It's not completely opaque, but the opacity is pretty good considering it's white shade. That is Milk Mix. And now I will admit I've never bought a blush full price because they're always on sale, and if you're ever paying over like £8 say, you might as well wait for it to go on sale for more. Like I think at the minute they're on sale for £5. On Black Friday I think they go on sale for even more. So yeah, right, this is the shimmery shade. Now this one I would use as a blush. It's the shade Dragon Fruit, and it's really pretty. I think this is my favourite of the shimmery shades, although it's one that I could never use as a highlighter. Like I don't think it's meant to be as a highlighter. I think it is meant to be a shimmery blush. And then the next shade is A Chance of Peach. That one is a lot more, a lot lighter and more iridescent than the other one. Like they're really going for the shimmer in that one. And it is a very pretty one. Then the next one, Champagne Spray. I think that last one I could use as a blusher topper, but I don't think I could use it as a highlighter. This one I could use as a highlighter. It's a little bit dark, but it's not got too much of a base pigment. It is Champagne Spray. So yeah, once it's blended out like that, it's nice. But this is the one that I would use. If I had to choose one as a highlighter, I would use. It's the shade Sprinkles. And it looks sort of white when you apply it like that, but when you blend it out, it's sort of just an iridescent pink sheen, which I love. So yeah, that is all my blushes. Well, all my blush is done, plus all my cream and liquid blushes, cream and liquid contours, and cream and liquid bronzers. So let me know if you liked this video. Let me know what you want to see next. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. And yeah, I'll see you next time.